Assalamu alaikum, Miss Anika.
Walaikum assalam. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine as well, Alhamdulillah.
Thank you so much for joining me today in the discussion Overcoming Revision Burnout.
You're most welcome. Thank you too for giving me this space.
Okay, now before we get into the theme of our discussion, let me ask you a quick warm-up question. Back in the days when you had big exams, were you a neat color-coded person or were you a last-minute crammer?
Actually, I'm both. I used to do both things. Like, for subjects like biology, I was like, I used to use neat color-coded highlighters for different kind of notes. But subjects like, literature, English language, I used to, just roughly write the meanings on the same paper using pencils, pen. It was, mess on my paper all the time. So yeah, I'm both person. I did both.
Okay. Another question is, since we are talking about active recall today, if I asked you what did you eat yesterday for breakfast, how confident are you that you'd be able to pass this question without looking in the kitchen?
Because this is something that I do every day. So I think it's regular. So I can remember very fast because that's the thing that I take every day. So every single day, same kind of breakfast. So yeah, I can recall it very fast, I think.
Okay, okay. Repetition, yeah?
Repetition, but it's not like that I take same breakfast every day, but same kind of similar pattern. So it's stuck in my head. It's already memorized, and it's just there. Even if I take a different breakfast someday, I will think like I have taken the same thing. So I will miss the new one, the unique one. So maybe, yeah.
Okay, okay. Let's get to the main question now. If a student is currently burnt out from staring at pages of English or maths notes, what are two or three highly engaging active recall techniques they can instantly switch to that feel less draining and more like a game?
Okay, so active recalling is, it differs for different kind of subjects. If I talk about, let's say I talk about English, or for memorizing something. Let's say I want to memorize a definition, or let's say you want to memorize a formula, or you want to memorize maybe short question answer codes, definition, something like that. So my first recommendation is the blurting method, which is basically the student take a blank page, or or paper, where the student write down everything they can remember after reading a topic. Okay, and without looking at their notes, they just write them. Afterwards they compare their answer with the notes or original material, and they fill in the gaps. Like they try to check their own copy and find the missing places where they have made mistakes, what are the lines they have missed, or what are the words they have missed. And you know it turns revision into a challenge. Now people love, students love challenges. So it turns revision into a challenge rather than a just simply reading activity, color coding, or doing the same thing again and again. It challenges our brain, and it brings out better results. And my second advice is I encourage students to teach the topic. For example, for maths, or topics like, let's say, physics, or if chemistry or biology, any topic, any subject. I encourage students to teach the topic and read it out loud, teach it out loud. Okay, so what happens is I ask my student to pretend to be a teacher, or a student can pretend that the student is a teacher, and take their parents or even a blank chair in front of them and try to teach them clearly and loudly. And it makes the topic easy to remember, memorize, and they can instantly identify the area then they need to work, they need to focus on when they goes to, when they sits, or when they goes to teach. They understand the points that they lacks, right? So I think teaching is one of the, teaching it out loud, trying to make the topic understand to other is a very good way to revise it. And lastly, in this, AI era, or in this digital time, what we can say is, there are a lot of apps, there are a lot of, boards, there are a lot of, websites where you will get some flashcards, or you can make your own flashcards. And that's very engaging. People makes their own flashcard and they make they can make mind maps, fun quizzes out of it. Sometimes, using those apps, or they can make flashcards, and now and then they can just bring that out and just go through it, scheme or scan through it, and just keep that aside, something like that, not reading it again and again, or not last minute revising. That's basically actually a burnout. It doesn't help in any way. So yeah, that's another thing. People can use digital flashcards, or flashcards made by themselves, anything to
Wow,
revise.
that's a really interesting way to use AI instead of, just like some people just want direct answers from AI, but using
No.
it to make flashcards and challenging yourself and
Yeah.
even learning deeper is really an interesting way to use AI.
And student can ask AI to make MCQs out of multiple choice questions, maybe fill in the blanks to the AI, and they can make them, and they can give instant feedback, like where they're wrong, where they're right, what topic they need to go through. Yeah, so I think, why not? If technology is there, people should go and try it. It's a privilege, I would say. So
Yes,
yeah.
but I think but they do need to be very careful with
Of
prompting the
course,
AI,
of course.
right?
Because they need to learn how to use it, because learning how to use it is really important.
I
It
think
doesn't work
there
properly if doesn't if they don't know how to use it properly. It won't work. It won't work.
I think there are many students using AI and teachers can instantly
Yeah,
tell that they're
yeah. There
using
are
AI
there
but incorrectly, you know,
there
without the
are
right.
very easy, there are AI flags. When you just go through it, you'll understand, okay, this is AI. There is always a difference between human written and AI written stuff. So yeah, when anyone just go through it, even a baby can understand that, okay, it's an AI driven work, or AI done work. So yeah.
Okay. I would like to ask you how you are confronting the students when they directly throw in all their AI product in their work, you know?
Okay, first and foremost, I look for dashes. That's the most easiest way. That's the most easiest way to identify AI. And it doesn't look natural, to be very honest. From the very first line, I can tell that it's not yours. And AI does one important thing, that is, these are basic flags. These are basic flags. AI bold some of the words suddenly out of nowhere in the paragraph. In the line, some of the words are suddenly bold. you know so we don't do that, right? We don't use dashes very often. We don't use dashes.
That's
These kind of punctuations are very standard punctuations that we humans doesn't use them, like the middle dash, the longer one, basically. So yeah, that's very easy to understand. And I really discourage my student, and I don't talk about them about this, that you can do this by AI. I really don't talk about these things with my student, because I really don't want them to misuse it. To be very honest, there needs to be mature enough to understand how to use it. It's of course beneficial. It's a privilege to be in this era and work with this stuff. It's a privilege, but everything has a age limit, and everything has a perfect time. So I think when they will understand, you know why, if the whole point of learning and teaching is making a person independent. So I think that's where everything matters. So I want them to be independent first. When someone becomes dependent on some this kind of
you don't
devices,
want them to become dependent on AI to think. You also want them
Yes.
to have their own thinking.
Yes, yes. So AI is not a very good thinker, to be very honest. I don't think it is. So it is a very good problem solver, but maybe not a very good thinker, because the perspective that a student can bring out of a literature piece or out of a question, I don't think AI sees that. So yeah. So yeah, there should be some limitations. Other than that, it's okay. It's okay to use for revision. It's okay to ask them to make you some questions so that you can answer them. That's very fair way to
And
use it.
flashcards.
And flashcards, yes.
Okay. Okay, the last question I'd like to ask you. When a student is revising entirely on their own, it's very easy to slip back into passive habits or give up when burnout hits. How do our targeted one on one online sessions at Merit Tutors keep students actively engaged without overwhelming them?
Okay, so one of the biggest advantages of one-on-one tutoring is that the learning experience can be adapted in real time. Like, you know, it's customized for one single student, right? So it's not like that, it's not one teaching style for all. It's basically something that one student needs. So when a student studies alone, they often don't notice, when they slipped back, or when they slipped back into passive habits. So, and they don't know whether the technique that they're using, whether that's correct or not, whether they even need that revision or not. Okay, so they don't understand it. This is the place where tutors work. A tutor can spot that immediately, and redirect them towards more effective and active recall techniques. So I think at Merit Tutors, our sessions are designed to keep students actively involved throughout the lesson. If we notice signs of, let's say, a student is burned out, fatigue, or there is disengagement with the topic, we can instantly switch approaches. So that's we can use some, instead of writing long questions, we can ask them to write, do some retrieval quizzes, some interactive whiteboard works, maybe some exam style challenges, sometimes games, maybe sometimes quizzes, or maybe some verbal questions, or just to re-engage the session so that they comes back. you know and I think sometimes, out of, when they becomes fatigue, or when they becomes like, disinterested, disengagement comes, what we do is, like, lead them with some different kind of questions so that they can go to the answer and build their own answer. So most importantly, the pace is tailored here, to the individual student, like whatever this individual student needs. And I think we can push them when they're ready and slow things down when they need support.
That's
And
really great.
yeah, yeah. And I think there is another important, there is this educational thing, like, I don't know whether you know it or not. It calls zone of proximal development. Okay, so it's suggested by Liv Vygotsky that there is always, and this is an excellent concept, to understand how childs learn language or how childs learn things. So that it says, you know, the concept shares that, students make the greatest progress when they're working on, materials that is just beyond their current level. So what happens is, to understand, beyond their current level is sometimes a little bit difficult for them. So they needs help on that point, which is beyond, a little bit upper than their current level. So I think, uh, that's where we work one-to-one sessions. We help students to move from their current level to the next level. So yeah, yes, I think, in a simpler word, scaffolding, scaffolding to them where they need help, exactly where they need help, rather than giving them a lot of tasks, something that they already know, giving same type of maths, hundreds and thousands of same type of maths doesn't work. Giving a slightly different math than the previous level works better. That's what I think. So yes, I think because the pace, the support are tailored to the individual students, and to make the students work on their optimum learning zone, building their confidence, strengthening their memory, making consistent progress, step by step, without experiencing the burnout that we are talking about. That's a very big struggle. So I think this one-on-one session makes it smoother, you know other than the burnout, if someone finds it, or
I think
if,
it also puts them in the zone for their classroom activities as well,
yes,
because
yes, that it makes discipline, sitting in front of a session and conduct, doing it with a professional setup. I think, yeah, it brings a lot of things together. And yeah, that's I think why one-on-one session is really important, or where Merit Tutors, or we are working. That's what I think. Scaffolding so that they can be their best version, and they don't get burnout out of revision and everything.
yes, that's very nice of you, teacher, Miss Anika. The setting the tone for the student and scaffolding, not just throwing the answers when they don't know, but asking them questions that lead them to think for themselves.
Yeah.
That's what we do here at Merit Tutors. I'm so proud to have you here with me today, Miss Anika.
Thank you
And
so much. I'm really, really very much, pleased and honored to be here again talking with you about my students.
I'm so grateful for you giving us your precious time today, and I wish you all the best in your endeavors.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.